Hi, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Adam.
And welcome back to Mix Minus Recap Star Trek: Lower Decks. Tonight we're going to tackle episode 8 titled Veritas. Adam, what did you think of this episode?
I thought John Delaney?
Yes.
What's his name?
John Delancey.
I thought that he had a very small part to bring him back as Q. That's what I thought.
So,
we'll get there.
He's getting up in age.
True.
And he's offered this gig that he could probably record from home, right? He quite literally phoned it in, but in a very high-tech way. So
they did a Zoom conference.
Pretty much. I'm sure he recorded locally. They could just shipped him just like a Zoom digital recorder and had him go into a closet somewhere and record it. Right? It's like that's the beauty of audio nowadays, is that it's very easy to get high quality audio with very little work. So
we did get. I don't know. I'm having trouble deciding what I think now. I think this second half has not awed me. I mean, I enjoyed. I feel like it's a broken record at this point. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I felt like this episode kind of was poking fun at some Star Trek tropes, and then giving the little twist ending at the end by it not actually being a trial, but being some declaration of a party. And
see, I think the reason that I was so struck by how small his part was is because at the very beginning, when they are in that big room for the trial, I was reminded of the very first episode of Next Generation when it was the trial of the crew or whatever.
Yeah, I think that was the feeling they were going for, to remind you of that, or to remind you of Undiscovered Country, the Star Trek film where they were, on trial at Kittimer, with the Klingons. It's like, or when Picard has been on trial for 1,000 different times, or when Cisco was on trial for 1,000 different times. It's like, it was that Star Trek courtroom kind of vibe to it, which just turns out, just this weird alien is renting this silo to etch something on side. It's not important, really, what he wanted to do.
I don't think there was a big courtroom in this one, but I'm also thinking of the Picard defends Data as a human, not a human.
Yeah,
but
no, that took place. Yeah, that took place on the Enterprise. Yeah, but so this episode, I enjoyed it because I had long since given up on this being any kind of serious thing. Like this is just Star Trek joke show, and I like Star Trek jokes. And this episode was just packed with a lot of them. Some of the better writing, I think, joke wise, from the series. I love that Tendi immediately jumped to the fact that she was making too much ice in the replicator, but she really likes ice. And then we're like, but they took the senior bridge officer, and she's like, oh my God, were they making ice too? And it's just like, kind of a really cute callback kind of a joke there. I also thought that it was, there's a throwaway line that Beckett said at one point in time. It's like, oh, Earth, that's only good for soul food restaurants and wineries.
Winery, yeah. I remember that.
It's like, so that's a Captain Cisco reference and a Picard reference there. So, it was, I don't know. I loved a lot of this stuff. I loved a lot of their crazy, just eels in water. And then they lit the jets, and Meritor's like, wait, eels and jets? Come on, that's redundant. And
then they were just swimming. Like, it didn't even seem like anything was going on. They were just kind of floating there. Like, they weren't even saying ow. I don't know.
Which seems to be, in line with it just being a party place instead of it actually being we should have maybe picked up on that.
Bring out the eels. I didn't want to do the eels.
So I also loved the fact that Tendi was the cleaner because she was cleaning the conference room, and that was mistaken as being some kind of like specialist to clean up operations, and
also how they were redacting things, but not really redacting things. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, but it was like, I did
notice that. And if you think about it, that's really clever writing wise, because what they were doing there is we, the audience, are listening to Tendi recount this for us, right? And she said, oh, well, I'll have to give the redacted version because it's classified. And so my take on it is like, this is their mental image of what it would be because Tindy is just really bad at redacting. It's like, she was like going, it's the Romula Boodins. Right. It's like, we're going to go to the neutral beep zone. It's like, I thought it was just kind of a play on the fact that Tindy is just incapable of slowing down enough to actually censor herself, and that this was the image that guy was getting. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like that was what it was.
Now, did you notice, because I know you had been giving like A, B, and C plots or whatever, but this is the first one that didn't really have, like it just had that one story. I mean, there were different plots because each one of them gave a different testimony. So when they went back, it was kind of a different part of the story. So I guess you could consider
this is kind of like a clip, like a clip show or a recap, not a recap show, but everyone's part is being taken place in, like, it's one of those, and we see that in Star Trek also. When they don't have the A, B, and C plots, they'll be reconstructing a mystery that has happened over the past week, and they're like, we learn a little bit at a time. And this was we're all in court. The bridge crew is on trial, and now we're going to relive through the characters explaining what has happened over the last 3 days. And then it turns out at the end, no, just a big joke, and nobody.
Yeah.
I also love that Beckett basically told Q, we don't have time for your shit right now. It's just like, go away.
They just keep walking.
So
yeah, I mean, it was enjoyable. I guess now talking about it, I guess I did enjoy it more than the two before. So I will give it that.
I can, and I get you, right? I feel like my hopes are always high when I watch the show, and I watch it the first time and I'm kind of on it. And then I'll watch it the second time and I'm more relaxed at that point because I kind of know I don't have that build up. And then I laugh at some of the jokes the second time around. So it's often the second watching that I actually really like the show.
So that's the key, everyone. Watch each episode twice.
No, I think the key is just it's Star Trek comedy half hour, right? It's just don't expect this to be, there is not going to be an overarching story, like in Deep Space Nine here, or in Discovery, or in any of those. This is just, a nice little half hour kind of comedy stand up for Star Trek. And it's kind of cool. I like it.
By the way, yes? I don't remember if you told me that in this recap show or in our podcast, but you told me, hey, Boimler is the guy from The Boys.
Yes, I told you that last show on this recap.
Okay, so just a report on that. Yes, I agree with you.
Well, it is a fact, right? It is a fact. It's not like you could just choose to. I don't agree with you. I don't think it's actually the same guy that does the voice, because it's clearly his same name that's in the credits.
Right.
Plus, there's the Ready Room with Will Wheaton on YouTube. He interviewed the guy that did Breath, so you can clearly see that it's also him.
Well, I heard it. I heard it when I'm listening. Yeah.
But speaking of things like that, Discovery, have you seen the trailer for Discovery Season 3, which will be dropping right after Star Trek Lower Decks ends?
I have not.
Oh, it looks good. I've actually been rewatching Seasons 1 and 2 of Discovery so that I can be caught up and refreshed in my memory in time for Season 3 to start. Also, one really weird side note, in Season 1 of Discovery, which I'm currently rewatching, when Ash Tyler and Lieutenant Lorca were in the simulation holodeck room fighting the Klingons, they were both using the Kirk punch with the two hands. They were both, I was like, and I kind of wanted Mariner to be there going like, Kirk hands.
Right.
Because that's just awesome. Anyway, well, it was a great. Any other things that jumped out at you in that episode?
No. I mean, the main thing that jumped out at me, because I knew that Q was going to be in an episode, because I think I had mentioned this before, and then I was like, man, I wish they'd had like a whole Q episode, but no, I mean, it was. I thought, it was interesting at the end, and I know we've both said, this is just a jokey joke show, but at the end, when Boimler basically gives his whole monologue about how no, Star Trek, Starfleet is not perfect, but
right,
their intentions were, I guarantee you their intentions were good. We're just explorers and, all that kind of course, that would come from him. So, I mean, I guess that's not a surprise, but, I thought that was cool, that they were like, yes, the people on the bridge are, maybe arrogant and other things, but, they kind of brought it home that, they are doing everything for the right reasons, basically. So I like that.
I mean, they're not going to poop on the franchise, right?
Right.
So, all right. Well, next week, episode 9.
Yep. 9.
That means next week is our favorite word in the universe. The penultimate episode of Star Trek: Lower Decks. So join us back here next week and we'll talk to you about that. So until then,
live long and prosper.
You're not going to do some weird thing?
I don't know. What is that thing? Live long and prosper. That's what I'm saying.
It's too late. It's too late.